Okay, folks, we're starting out laying down, so close your eyes. Spread out your back on the floor. And we're just going to breathe here for a little while. We're going to give ourselves a little transition time to just settle into practice mode by breathing deeply, allowing tension to kind of drain out with every exhale. Allow your eyes to close very softly with all the little creases around your eyes, very soft as well. And see if you could bring a little bit more relaxation into your face. We tend to kind of clench the jaw and smoosh our eyebrows together during the day, so let all that soften up. Let that same sense of softness drift down your neck to your shoulders. Maybe scoot your shoulder blades a little underneath your heart so you feel kind of big in your chest. Let that softness travel down your arms to your palms. And continue to deepen your breath here. We want big inhales into the belly and the rib cage, big expansion. And we want strong exhales. Belly button pulling in the spine. And with each inhale and exhale, see if you could feel a lot more softness in your chest, your belly, and your hips. Continue to feel that wave of softness kind of moving down your body to your legs and your feet. Allow the breath to feel effortless. Maybe lengthen it another second. And in this still, relaxed place, give yourself a few moments just to be present, just to practice being in this moment. We're not moving, we're not doing anything. And so we can fully dive into just experiencing this moment. Notice your breath. Notice the way your mat or the floor feels against your body. Allow all of your senses to take in your environment and what's happening right now. And as we begin to move through the practice, see if you could keep this sense of being rooted in the moment. Even if you notice your mind running into the past and the future, that's okay. Just notice that. And bring your awareness back to what is happening right now. What am I doing right now? Okay, let's bring in a little bit of movement. We're going to get a little warm here. So bring your knees in. We're going to give them a hug. Squeeze the knees in, and this is a nice time to kind of smoosh your low back around on the mat. Smoosh out your glutes. And let's wake up your core a little bit. During the day, we tend to collect a lot of tension in the low back, okay? And by activating the core, we can help release a lot of that tension in the low back. So let's see how we do. Go ahead and float your knees over your hips and put a nice flex in your ankles. So kind of like you're sitting in a chair here, okay? Like your feet are flat on the ground, and then hands to your thighs, okay? And then I want you to start to push against your thighs with your hands. At the same time, push your thighs back against your hands. So you're feeling a very strong shape here. And remember to breathe. Now keep in mind, your belly button needs to be pulling down toward the ground so that your low back is grounded. So if you feel your low back peel up, bring your knees a little closer to you, ground that low back, and then go from there. Keep breathing. Now, if this is quite enough, then just hang here. If you want a bit more, I want you to lift your head and shoulders without squinching any side of your neck. So try to keep your neck free of creases. On all sides, keep breathing. If everything's going great, reach one hand for the back of the room behind you. Make sure you have a long neck on that side, okay? And then reach the other hand back behind you. Keep breathing. If you're still feeling good, you want a little bit more warmth in that core, extend one leg forward and then the other leg forward, but you still have that low back connected to the floor. So you're practicing a hollow body shape. One more big breath in here. And let it go. Bend your knees back into your chest. Drop your head and shoulders. If you tuck your hands behind your knees here, we can rock it up. And let's roll it down and rock it up a few times. So we can kind of playfully rock up and balance, maybe using toes, maybe not. And then roll down. Rock up and roll down. One more time. Let's rock up and hold. And hold right here. So remember, when you're holding your boat, you have options. You can always drop your feet. Okay, it's still a boat, but wherever you are, lengthen your spine. And if you can, put your palms together. Nice breath here. Keep the structure of your boat. Keep that structural integrity, okay? Now try this. Try tapping your fingers on the floor over to the right. So you're turning to look over that right shoulder. Come back through center. Tap your fingers over to the left side of the floor. Look over your left shoulder. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist to the left. Keep it going nice and slow. So the structural integrity of your boat is still there. You still have this hollowed out shape in your body with a long spine. And we're building some heat in that side body, in that core. Hip flexors. Let's do 3 more on each side. You can drop those feet. 2 more on each side. Last one on each side. Now hold wherever you are, whatever side you're on. Open your arms wide and let's look at that back arm. Breathe. If you want to extend your legs for a little extra challenge, go for it. Enjoy this twisty boat. We're going to go through center now and go to the other side. Hold and breathe. Long arms, long spine. Very nice. One more big breath in here. And we're coming back through center and letting it go. All right, if you point your knees out to one side, we'll come to hands and knees, and I'll meet you here. So from hands and knees, make your hands really strong. Okay, we want those strong hands. Seeing a lot of color between your fingers, and your pointer fingers point forward. Let's put a little inward squeeze between the elbows, and I'm going to have us get the right leg up and out behind. We're going to bend that knee, point that right toe up at the ceiling. So before we start to move, I just want to make you aware of some things that we're going to need to keep an eye on. For one thing, let's make sure the right toes point directly up and the right hip has an inward rotation to it. So the right knee does not ever point to the right, the toes never point to the left. It's always straight up and down. Okay, that being said, pull your belly button into your spine to intentionally restrict the movement in your hip. I want the glute to do it. We don't want to overextend in the low back. So pull that belly button in. All right, just like you're doing a cat-cow, grip that mat, pull your heart forward for a cow pose, but at the same time, I want you to send that right toe toward the back of your head. As you exhale to a cat posture, pull that right knee in to your nose. We'll do that again. So inhale here, pull your heart forward, cow posture, send that toe toward the back of your head, and vice versa. Exhale, cat posture. Pull that knee to your nose. We're going to do that one more time and we're going to hold. So send that toe toward the back of your head, cow, and hold it right here. And I want you to lift that belly button and pull on your hands. Point that right toe at the back of your head. Let's take one more big breath in here. And exhale, push the floor around that spine. Pull that right knee to your nose. Now let's hold here. Let your head hang. Push the floor. Breathe space into the back of your body. One more breath in. And let that go. We're dropping that right knee. Tuck your toes here. Hips up and back. Walk it out in a down dog. Walk out your heels, shake your head. And I want to do a few plank dogs here with you. Plank dogs are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. With your inhale, move your heart forward and find a plank posture. And that means you can drop your knees if you need to, okay? With your exhale, press it back to a down dog. So let's do a few more like that. Inhale, heart moves forward to a plank. Exhale to your down dog. Keep it going. Let's maybe do that 3 more times. Inhale forward. So you can do this with your knees down, okay? If you ever need to. 2 more times. Inhale forward. Exhale, down dog. Just building warmth. 1 more. Inhale forward. And exhale to your down dog. All right, from here, we're going to go back down to hands and knees. And we're going to do the other side. So this time, the left leg will be up and up behind you. And we'll do that cat-cow type movement, okay? So make sure that that left knee points straight back, never to the left, and the left toes point straight up, never to the right. So we want an internal rotation. And we need a little lift in the belly button because we want to protect the low back. We don't want this back extension that we're about to do to just go straight into the low back. We want it to go more into the upper spine. So here we go. Grip the mat, elbows in. Pull your heart forward on the inhale as you lift that toe toward the back of your head. And exhale, pull that knee towards your nose. So rounding into a cat posture. Extending, inhaling into that cow posture. Couple more times, just like this. I want you to feel space opening up in your rib cage, front and back. And then next time you're in that cow posture, that left toe moving toward the back of your head, pulling your heart forward, hold and breathe. Lift that belly button to keep the low back safe. 1 more big breath in. And exhale, push the floor down, around, pull that knee to your nose, hold and breathe. Find extra space in the back body. 1 more big breath in. And let all that go. Whew. Tuck your toes. Find yourself a downward facing dog. Let's shake it out here. So let's do kind of a variation on those plank dogs. So we want to go back to that same idea of rolling the heart forward on the inhale, but this time, when you come forward into your plank, will you round your spine like you're trying to look at your belly button? As you exhale, bend your knees and extend your spine, looking forward. So we can call these spinal waves, okay? When you inhale, round it forward. Think of pushing up through your toes, feeling that wave roll up to the top of your head. When you exhale, you bend at the knees. That wave rolls all the way back. So maybe 3 more spinal waves, and you can do this with your knees down, of course. And find a lot of fluidity in your spine. 2 more. Last one. Inhale, rolling it forward. Exhale, rolling it back. And when you press back into that final down dog, go ahead and walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Bend those knees and let's just hang for a little while. Okay. Want to become aware of how the backs of the legs are feeling. If you feel a lot of weight in your heels and your hamstrings feel tense, see if you can rock a little bit of weight into the front part of your foot so the weight is more balanced. Okay, and I'm going to have us move a little bit from here, so check it out. Inhale, drop your hips, knees are bending, you're reaching upward into a chair posture. Okay, knees moving toward each other so the legs are strong. With your exhale, drop your heart, hips up into your fold. See if you want to join your hands behind you and move them away from you. Ready to do that again? Inhale, hips down, release your hands, only to reach them up overhead into your chair. And exhale, drop it into your fold, hands behind you. Let's do that one more time. Inhale into your chair. Now hold it right here with me and breathe. Strong legs pulling together. Belly button in, heart is lifting. And could you make your neck a little longer here? Could you lift your toes? Could you drop a little more into the ball mound of each toe? Nice. One more big breath in. Exhale here. Drop your heart. Lift those hips. Hands back behind. And hold right here. Moving those hands away from you. Nice breath. Shake that head out. All right, friends, release your hands. Put a little bend in your knees and inhale to roll yourself all the way up to standing. Make the legs really strong. Heart lifts, hands lift. We have a nice tiny back bend up top. With your exhale here, fold, hinge yourself all the way down. Palms are down here, so inhale and walk your hands all the way forward to a plank. With your exhale, come halfway down. Inhale and press yourself up to a side plank. So I'm going to have you drop your heels to the left and reach up with your right hand. Okay, you can always drop the bottom knee in your side plank. Anytime, the bottom knee can come down. Exhale here, all hands down, rolling back onto your toes. Come halfway down, elbows to ribs. Inhale here, press it up to the other side plank. So we're dropping the heels to the right, lifting that left hand. Remember, bottom knee can come down, okay? Exhaling here, all hands down. Toes roll back to the floor, halfway down. Inhale here for that plank, press it up, and exhale. Downward facing dog. Take a moment here. So we're getting the arms nice and warm with all these push-ups and side planks. And if you ever need a little bit less intensity in those push-ups, just drop your knees, okay? Drop it in the side planks too. And just stay with it because the shoulder mobility is good practice, even if the core work is a little too much. So you can just take it down. Okay, friends, let's keep going. So inhaling here, let's get the right leg up and out behind you. Send it out, 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 and up. Exhale here. Send that right foot forward. Drop it between your hands. Okay, we're coming up here to a lunge, and I want you to get your palms together because we're going to twist it. But first, really strong in the legs. Okay, real strong, pressing down through all the bones, strong pulling in through all the muscles. And keep in mind, you can always drop the back knee and make this a little bit more gentle. But if all is going well, send that left elbow close to the outer right knee. And you could just set the left elbow on top of the leg if that's good for now, okay? You can also opt to really tuck it down on the outside. And we're gonna breathe here for a little while in our twist. So I want to give you the option to always back out and drop the back knee. But I also want to give you the option to really dive in and drop your hips and allow the legs to continue to resist the floor. Maybe you deepen this twist, okay? You can really drop that outer elbow, okay, that left elbow, and tickle the floor with your left fingertips, reaching up with your right. Nice, long, slow breath here. Now, if you opened your arms wide, go ahead and put your palms back together because I have a really super funky challenge for you. So I want you to visualize it before you do it. Okay, ready to visualize? I want you to visualize your back foot stepping forward to meet your front without changing the right leg at all. You're going to end up in a squat with a twist. Okay, ready? Visualize it before it happens. And we're going to step the back foot forward to meet the front. We're still in a twisted squat. So hold here with me and breathe. All right, it's okay if that didn't come out the way you pictured it. If it did, amazing. We're going to go back after a few breaths. So drop those hips low, squeeze your knees together, and lengthen your spine. Now visualize stepping back before we do it. Visualize the left foot stepping back into a lunge. Are you ready? Here we go. We're going to do it. Step it back. Find that lunge. Settle back in. Make it crisp. One more time. One more big breath in here in your lunge. And let it go. All hands down under your shoulders. Inhale here. We're getting the right leg up and out behind. 3-leg dog. And exhale here, drop the right foot. Okay, inhaling here to a plank. Exhaling halfway down, a little half push-up. Use those knees if you need it. Coming up to a side plank on your inhale. Pick a side, come on up. Maybe lift the top leg for more challenge. Halfway down, so come back down to your halfway plank on your exhale. Inhale up to your other side plank. Okay, maybe lifting that top leg for a little extra. Halfway down as you exhale, here we go. Inhale all the way up to your plank and exhale to your down dog. Come on back. Roll your heels up and down. Take a few breaths here. Are you ready to do that twisted lunge to a squat on the other side? That's where we're going. So here we go. Inhaling here, let's get the left leg up and out behind. Exhaling here, send that left foot forward, drop that foot between your hands. So we're coming up to a lunge. Okay, palms together. But first, let's get our lunge really strong. So pressing down, we want some nice resistance on the floor. We want to feel the legs working, okay? Muscles pulling in. We can always drop the back knee. But once you've got your bearings, you've got your stability, then let's take the right elbow and set it on the left knee. And some people just choose to kind of set it there, and that's quite enough. And so you can just stop right there and just take it easy. Okay, but if you want to keep going, you can tuck that elbow further down. Then I'm going to spin around to face you at this point. So you could choose to open your arms wide here and tickle the floor with your right fingers, reaching up with your left, and keep the legs strong. Keep breathing. We're getting the legs really warm. Now, you know what we're going to do. So start to visualize that right foot stepping forward. Feel it happening. See it happening in your mind. Find that twisted squat in your mind. And as you're ready, hands back together. If they were apart, we're going to step the right foot forward. Here goes. End up in your twisted squat. Knees right together. Upper body twisting. Breathe. Keep the legs strong. If it's too much, you can always take a break, but ask yourself, yeah, could I stay a few seconds longer? So we're going to transition back to that lunge. Visualize it before it happens. Feel it, see it. We're going to step the right foot back to that twisted lunge. So we have extra weight in the left foot. Step the right foot back. Hold and breathe. Sink down into it. Find it one more time. One more big breath here. And let's let it go. All hands down under your shoulders. 3-leg dog on your inhale with that left leg up and out behind. Exhale here, drop that left foot. So here comes that little side plank flow. Are you ready? Inhale for that plank. Exhale, we're coming halfway down. Use those knees if you need them. Inhale, come up to a side plank. Pick a side, modify, or make it more challenging by lifting the top leg. Exhale down to your plank, halfway down. Inhale up to the other side plank, just whatever it is. Breathe while you're moving. Exhale down to plank, halfway down. Inhale up to that plank and exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here with me. 5 or 6 long, slow breaths. Might feel a lot of heat and hopefully some good warmth and mobility in your hips and shoulders, your core. You really push out through your palms and push down through your feet. All right, my friends, I'm gonna keep going. So inhaling here, let's get the right leg up and out behind. Exhaling here, set that right foot down between your hands. We're gonna walk the hands out to the left side of the mat here. Okay, your toes are turning out to the side, to the left, and you can grab your hips with your hands and come on up to standing. Come on up. So I've got us ready to get into a horse posture here. So arms out wide here. We're just gonna play around a little bit. See if you could rock your weight into your heels, pick up your toes and point your toes out. And then pick up your toes and point your toes in. So you're just kind of play around. Externally rotate your hips and internally rotate. External, internal. Maybe 3 more times. External, internal, external, internal. And then we'll end in an external rotation. So your toes are pointed out, your heels are angled in. And from there, I want you to drop, bending your knees so your hips are level with your knees. Make sure you're not leaning forward. So I want you actually leaning and sitting back into this. Pull your belly button in. And if you need to get out, you can stand up. But sink down into this, horses. I like to open my palms forward and then open the arms wide like you're peeling open a book. Breathe here. So I want to take 3 more long, slow breaths in horse. If you need a break, stand up. Okay, lift those hips. But if everything's going great, I want you to dive in. Peel your knees open as wide as you can. Sink down low. Find the strength in pressing down into your legs. And as you're ready, we're going to extend those knees, hands back to your hips. Internally rotate your hips now by pointing your toes out in the direction that you're looking. And fold yourself all the way down. So hinging at your hips probably means that eventually the top of your head will point down. And you could take your hands to the floor, fingers pointing to the left, and walk your hands back a little bit, perhaps pointing your head more satisfyingly downward, if that's appropriate. And you can always take your feet closer if your head needs a little bit more clearance, like mine. Take a few more breaths here into the back side of your body. Could you rock a little bit more weight into the outer edge of your foot and slightly lift your arch, maybe lifting your toes. And notice how activating your feet feels. All right, we have one more big breath in right here in this wide leg forward fold. And as you're ready, we're coming back up out of this. So walk your hands back up underneath your shoulders and back over by that right foot, out in front of the mat, front of your space. Okay, let's send it up and back to a 3-leg dog. So from here, inhale, right leg up and out behind, send it up in the air. And exhale, drop that right foot. Ready for some side plank stuff? Okay. Here comes that same little plank vinyasa. So inhaling forward to a plank, exhaling halfway down. Inhaling to a side plank. Modify or make it more challenging. Exhale to your halfway plank. Inhale to the other side plank. Exhale, halfway plank. Inhale, up to your plank. Nice. Exhale to your down dog. Hold it here for a moment. Shake it out. Walk it out. Breathe length into your spine. Strength into the arms and legs. You want to sense that the arms and legs are pulling inward at the same time as we're taking up as much space as possible. All right. Here comes the other side. So inhaling here, left leg up and out behind. Exhaling here, drop the left foot between your hands. And we're walking the hands over to the right side of the mat here. So I'm going to spin around to face you. Okay, hands are over on the right. So again, I want to come up to a horse again. So point your toes out to the right, hands to your hips, up to standing. So here we are. We don't have to think so hard about the internal and external rotations this time. So internal and external rotate a couple times. Toes point out, toes point in, toes point out, toes point in. And let's pause when they're pointing out. Drop it down to a horse again. Okay, this time I want to give you something extra to kind of play with and think about. So remember, if you need a break, just lift your hips. It's your way out. Okay, but wherever you are, pull your belly button in, sink that tailbone down low. Lift that heart up. Now I want you to play around with lifting your right heel very high. Keep here in this posture. Keep breathing. How can you make this posture more solid, more strong? Press into the ground. Drop the right heel carefully. Lift the left heel. Hold and breathe. Hopefully you're feeling a lot of heat building in your body. That's good. We're building heat in the legs. It's good stuff. Drop the left heel carefully. Okay, now listen carefully. Lift both heels all the way up with those heels. Can you drop the tailbone? One more big breath in. And let it go. Drop the heels. Extend your knees. Whew. All the toes point out to the right. Grab your hips and hinge yourself all the way down again. Again, find a nice little fold here. Some of us are happy, just hands on the floor, top of the head pointing at the ground. Some of us, we might want to try a little headstand here. So I'll just turn slightly to show you what I mean. So if you want to, you can put your palms under your shoulders, fingers pointed out to the right, and you can very carefully set the top of your head down so that you're looking directly across the floor, and your hands and your head make a triangle in the way they're kind of relating to each other here. From here, if you want to bend your knees, you can set them on your elbows. You can work on touching your toes together, and then you can work on pointing your toes up. Okay, so just something to play with. Anywhere along that journey is also a really good thing to experiment with if you're not ready for the full headstand. So wherever you are, 1 or 2 more breaths, enjoying just whatever you're experimenting with. And then take your time. Press yourself back up out of this, hands back under your shoulders. And let's walk these hands back over by that left foot. We're going to send it back to a 3-leg dog here. So inhale here, left leg up and out behind. And exhale here, drop that left foot. All right, inhaling here, find one last plank. We're not going to do that side plank flow this time. With your exhale, drop your knees. Okay, go ahead and sit back on your heels here. Okay, nice work. Should be feeling really nice and warm in the hips and shoulders, arms and legs. If you sit your hips out to one side, we'll come all the way down to a seat. So let's get a nice little twist built in here. We're going to want to cross our legs with the left leg tucked in close to you so that your left heel is near your right hip. And that right foot will cross over to the other side of the left knee. Okay. Sometimes it's challenging to get your hips to stay down when you do this. So make sure you put a little extra attention into keeping that right hip down, okay? Because it's probably going to come up. Use your left arm to hold the right leg and look over that right shoulder. Nice breath here. We have a long spine, inhale. And a big twist on the exhale. Maybe 3 or 4 more long, slow breaths here. Make sure that belly is strong on the exhales. All right, let's roll this twist back in towards center. And then just see if you can walk that right foot further out to the right, further out to the left, sorry. So further out on the left until the knees get pretty close. So if your knees are nice and close, you can maybe even pick your hips up and set them down more firmly. So we're heading into a Gomukhasana or cow face pose. You can take your feet closer to you to make this more comfortable. Take them away from you to make it more intense. So please modify wherever you are. And then we'll take a few breaths, just sitting up nice and tall. Remember to put some strength in your legs and press into the ground. Right, as you are ready, we'll back up out of this one. Leaning back on your hands, you can kick your legs out gently and maybe give them a few windshield wipers side to side. And we'll just switch sides. So now we'll cross the right leg underneath. The right foot will be close to your left hip, and your left foot will be toward the outside of the right knee. So we're setting up a twist. Let's make sure that hip is really heavy on the ground. The right arm holds the left knee this time. And we can start to look over that left shoulder. But remember your long spine, you're still resisting the floor with your legs. And big exhales. As you're ready, unroll yourself from that twist. And let's take a Gomukhasana on this side. So keep walking your left foot over to the right until you can get your knees close. I like to pick my hips up when my knees get close and sit them nicely between the feet. Okay, so just find something that works for you. Put the feet right where you want them and start to settle in, pressing down into the floor with your legs. So I invite you to just close your eyes, put some nice activity in that lower body. And invite release to the outer hips and the glutes, the low back. All right, friends, as you're ready, we're letting this one go. We're going to come all the way down to a resting posture. So take your feet out front. One last round of windshield wipers, maybe. Just shaking it out. And let's see if we can roll down in slow motion. So reaching past your knees, round your spine, and see if you could place one vertebra at a time on the floor. Take your time. All right, when you land, it is time to rest. So open your heart up toward the ceiling, maybe a little shoulder blade tuck underneath the heart. And here's where we back out of the practice, kind of the same way we came in, where we sat down, we engaged the breath, we started engaging the body, but now we want to disengage. We want to let go of controlling breath. We want to let go of controlling and doing anything in the body. Just complete rest. With the mind too, just let the mind do its thing. Okay, but you bring your awareness back to this moment again and again, as many times as you drift away and think, okay? Then come back to the moment. It's so important that we take this time after the experience of practicing to give that central nervous system time to integrate and assimilate all the experiences of the practice. So please keep resting like this for as long as you can. Thanks so much for joining me. This is where I'll leave you tonight.